A routine traffic stop, a battle over a firearm, and a cop is shot. The veteran suicide rate in this country is distressful. I do like Mr. T. That's the second time I've interviewed him. He, as he said, I pity the fool. Why are so many people buying right now? Because of the best interest rates in the last 100 years. Spectacular. Which shows the joy.
Very embracing of her womanhood.
And the pain that veterans go through when they come back from their overseas tours. Let me ask you a question. Would you vote for this guy? Taxi versus semi. 5 people in that taxi. 1 critical, 1 serious. Upsetting many people, including this reporter.
How much money are you out, big hitter?
$15. What did you learn from 08 coming back a second time? Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, thank you. Big game tonight, guys. I love these guys.
I know.
A change of course for Sony Pictures after the interview is pulled from the movie theaters. I'm Kerry Kinsey. So obviously, not everybody, hello, agrees with John Curtis, but that's what critics get paid for. A lively crowd, guys, reporting live on the Strip. Kerry Kinsey, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
And the crowds are going wild for Kerry Kinsey, too.
Yes, they are.
All your medications.
For Ace Lopez, it's not just a photo shoot.
They were trying to put me on another antidepressant.
It's a chance for him to tell us that he's a guy who's trying to re-enter society.
Look in the mirror. 1, 2, 3.
After 4 years as a combat veteran who saw action in Afghanistan.
Time of the transformation.
And Devin Mitchell is helping Ace get that message across.
I look like Mario, dude. I look like Mario.
Mitchell is a traveling photographer.
You like it?
Who's creating a book which shows the joy.
Very embracing of her womanhood.
And the pain that veterans go through when they come back from their overseas tours.
Some people have not gone to a very good place after they've reintegrated.
Mitchell takes the photos and recreates the mirror images through a photo editing system, but he never tells veterans what they should show or should be. Mitchell is using this project as a photo essay as part of his senior thesis at Arizona State University.
I grew up loving images that were difficult to accomplish.
His docu-illustrations are real and unfiltered. He says the pain that vets have experienced comes through his lens.
If they ended up on drugs or prescriptions or in adult entertainment or in an abusive relationship or in a homeless shelter, I allow the veteran to drive that message through their picture. The message is very clear in this photo.
U.S. Army retired Staff Sergeant Richard Carrion saw combat action in Iraq and Afghanistan. He says Mitchell's Devinography hits home with him because
you spend so much time grooming the service member to become that next sergeant, to become that next captain, that sometimes the person that is within sometimes gets neglected.
That neglect is captured by Mitchell's camera via his notepad.
1, 2, 3.
But he says this venture is all about transparency, not taste. And you can't get more transparent than this.
Disturbing. It's highly disturbing.
Attorney Alexis Plunkett says the High Desert State Prison is covering up the details of a November 12th shooting there that killed inmate Carlos Perez and left her client, 24-year-old inmate Andrew Arvalo, clinging to life.
A very poorly executed cover-up, yes.
Plunkett says Arvalo and Perez were handcuffed behind their backs and began kicking each other. She says a prison corrections officer trainee shot both men in the head, neck, chest, and arms. Perez died of his injuries, but Arvalo survived, according to Plunkett, much to the chagrin of the Nevada Department of Corrections.
Absolutely. If Andrew had not lived, and if the Perez family had not demanded at the morgue or at the funeral home to see Carlos's body, How would anyone have ever known?
In fact, prison officials acknowledged the death in November with a short statement, but for several months never mentioned that a weapon was used in the incident.
It's crazy.
And now more mystery as Plunkett reveals that in January, the High Desert Warden administratively charged Arvalo with murder and assault in connection with the incident. Where do they get murder when he wasn't even near a gun?
Your guess is as good as mine.
But thanks to pressure from Plunkett and others, the warden withdrew the murder and assault allegations.
The fact that the COs violated procedure to allow this to happen, the fact that a CO trainee repeatedly shot 2 handcuffed inmates in the face, the entire thing is highly, highly disturbing.
Yeah, guys, we're talking about too many signs, not enough time. John, Elizabeth, let me ask you a question. Would you vote for this guy? Political signs dot the landscape in the Las Vegas Valley. Every size, shape, and color. But do they really help the voter? When you see that over there, what do you think?
Garbage. Waste of time, waste of taxpayers' money.
Guidelines for signage vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Of the signs out there, Joe Gloria of the Clark County Registrar's Office says,
they're all over the place. You can't miss them.
Jeremy Johnson of Red Sub Graphics says he's made more than 20,000 political signs in his career. What makes a great political sign?
I would say bright color and the picture.
Johnson gave me an idea. Just for one night, I wanted to see how electable I could be. For the price of about 3 lattes, I went with the standard red, white, and blue and a big picture to become candidate for a day. I plopped it down on Russell Road and let the magic happen, hoping for a surge of support for my grassroots campaign. Check this man out.
I'm a Kerry Kinsey District Court Judge. Is that you?
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. Half of these people, I don't know.
Would you vote for this guy?
No.
Appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, I'm being honest. Absolutely.
Hey, tell me why.
Because it means nothing to me.
Do you trust that man?
Like Kerry. You sure that's not you?
Now, I've done a lot of research into the psychology of color and marketing, and many candidates, I'm going with that red, white, and blue action. Blue, by the way, is a huge color of trust. Now, Jeremy Johnson, our friend who's the graphics expert, says he's starting to see a lot of political candidates use green as a sign of that candidate's love for the environment. Reporting live, Kerry Kinsey, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
And we see the same faces every election cycle, Kerry, but you are a fresh face out there in the landscape.
Well, I appreciate it, but, I demand a recount. I'm getting hammered right now. I'm 0 for 2.
Well, it's still early, and maybe there might be a big write-in campaign after tonight. We'll have to see. Kerry, thank you.
Great job on that story, Kerry.
I appreciate it, Eric.
Good stuff. Great.
The fist bump. It's pretty popular here at Fox 5 between photographers and reporters. A show of respect, that's what it is. But you're not going to believe where it all started. St. Louis Cardinals slugger Stan Musial invented the first fist bump. Stan the man was convinced he was getting too many colds and picking up too many germs, shaking thousands of hands. And now the fist bump is not just about street cred, it's making a resurgence. President Obama is doing it. Princess Kate gave some fist pound to a sick child. John Kerry with respect knuckles for Snoop Dogg. Real dogs are also bumping the rock.
Found it.
YouTube is loaded with videos of people talking about fist bumping.
So I was going in with the handshake real hot. They were coming in with the fist bump real hot. And I'm like, well, I'm not changing.
Gentlemen even have their own guide to fist bumps. And now researchers at a university in Wales say doctors should ditch the handshake and greet their patients with a fist bump instead. The study shows that fist bumps are a lot more hygienic than handshakes.
What we found was that there were more than 10 times as many bacteria transferred between hands if the people shook hands rather than a simple fist bump.
Dr. Dahlia Wax says she likes fist bumps, but would never consider grading her patients that way.
Fist bumps can be a double-edged sword where people think it's colder, that you don't want to touch them. So I, as a doctor, won't ever fist bump. You know, I prefer, if we're going to bump, we do something like the bump, the 1970s bump.
Dr. Dahlia, thanks for the interview.
Anytime.
Kerry Kinsey, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
He left her hanging.
He did.
This is a must-see. Toshiba showing off a communication robot who can sing, cook, and clean with the best of them, thanks to the world's highest level of natural facial expressions. Oh, great. She anchors a newscast, too. Virtual news copy reader, reality job stealer.
It's like a palm strike.
Speaking of virtual, how about a social virtual reality volleyball game?
So talk, say hey, look around, and have fun.
Alt Space VR says it's the ability to interact with other people who are not even there with you. How did I do for my first time?
Stellar. Yeah, second place today.
Welcome
That
back
is
from your beach
unreal.
vacation.
The Dell Venue 8 7000 series tablet is a Best of CES award winner for its design. It's the world's thinnest tablet at 6 millimeters. Intel technology creates a three-dimensional image of your pictures and allows people to edit like crazy. It's spatial relativity never seen before from a tablet.
Or what's the difference between this lamppost and the front of this gelato cooler, 15 feet, 4 inches?
It's all about action.
Yep, at the Nikon 360 project, they're jumping and punching in front of 48 Nikon D750 cameras to create this effect like you're almost floating in midair.
Are you ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Photographer Roger Briner and I did it yesterday.
3. I got
Here's what it looks like in 360.
Couldn't get enough. Right.
Tonight, a return to this exhibit, this time with an idea. What do you think of that? Confetti and cards. Okay. That'll make some action for all of those cameras.
1, 2, 3. That work? Yeah.
Totally right.
They were all like in front of him.
So how did that look in 360? Spectacular. The search is on to find a missing Toyota 4Runner that's connected to a homicide investigation. How a house fire in Anthem turns into a murder scene. A change of course for Sony Pictures after The Interview is pulled from the movie theaters. I'm Kerry Kinsey.
I'm Jane Sander. You do have one option.
Yeah, the Stadium 6 Theater in Mesquite will show The Interview on Christmas Day. Now, Fox 5's Tiffany Murphy was there where moviegoers are supporting Sony's decision. Right, Tiffany? Are you going to see the movie?
I am going to see it, and I probably wouldn't have seen it before. It's just so much hype about it, you know?
Yeah, and IMDb gives it 4 stars. They say it is a great flick.
Yeah, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it almost, what is it, 5 tomatoes?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right,
Great
Tiffany.
promotions for that film.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Tiffany. Well, last time we checked, about 20 tickets had already been sold for one of tomorrow's showings of The Interview. You can also see the movie online on YouTube and Google Play for $5.99. 2 men who posed as Mormon missionaries to break into a home have been handed their punishment. Abraham Austin and Robert Estall were sentenced Monday, each of them given 7 years to life in prison. A jury found them guilty in September of charges that included kidnapping and armed robbery. Prosecutors say they wore white shirts and black ties, pants and shoes in the style worn by Mormon missionaries in the June 2013 home invasion. A man was beaten and thousands of dollars were stolen. Now, the kids say they had lots of fun. Their gifts included dolls and snacks. That's making good use of those trunks.
Oh, very good. I see what you did there.
What was that?
Well, I'm not sure how you as kids would respond, but we'll see you at 6.
See you later.